Hello, everyone, and welcome to the program. This is Sunday Politics live on Channels Television. I'm sure Kimbaloye in Lagos. Happy Easter to all our Christian brothers and sisters, wherever you may be watching me tonight. And I hope that you've been having a good celebration. Let's begin tonight's program by telling you what Professor Yemi Oshibajo, the Vice President, said today. He said that the promise of the resurrection of Jesus Christ is the fact that the power can be applied to all that may seem dead in our country. He was speaking to journalists after Easter service at the Villa Chapel in Abuja. Take a listen to the Vice President.
Hope. So where there's despair, I pray that hope will be restored. Where there's fear, I pray that there will be encouragement, there will be confidence. Where there's deprivation, I pray that there will be prosperity and there will be abundance. I think that one of the things that the power of resurrection teaches us is, just as was said today in the message that was preached. Yes, there may be things that appear to be dead, but the power of the resurrection is the one that assures us that life will come after death. So we're completely confident that, especially for our country, that everywhere where we've suffered deprivation or loss, there will be restoration. That is the promise of the resurrection.
All right, needed prayers there, isn't it? And the Imo State Governor, Hope Uzodinma, has dissociated the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, from the atrocities, killings, and insecurity experienced in the state in recent times. Was speaking to a congregation of Christian faithful at the Catholic Church of St. Rose of Lima, Ozu, Omuma in Oru East local government area of Imo State in commemoration of the Easter celebration. The government reiterates that the security breaches in Imo State recently is politically contrived.
Wicked politicians are sponsoring the killings in Olo. Last week in Oberuru, the APC ward chairman was killed in his house. The APC secretary was killed in his house. APC woman leader was killed in his house. I have cross-checked since the inception of this banditry. Not one PDP man has died. Not one PDP man, his house has been attacked or burnt. So it is very clear to me that these people are after APC. I am sorry for those who will come in a very naked daylight and want to be after government. Only a weak government can allow that. It is my hope that the people who are doing this will use the period of Easter and they repent. If they don't repent, government will come all out.
All right, so the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma there. And there is one man that has been preaching hope across the country. We're speaking about how a nation, Nigeria, and its peoples can get, as I've said, peoples, because all different ethnicity and religion and tongue and tribes in this nation, there's a lot of diversity. And it looks so much that there's some kind of division, but there is need for some kind of unity in this country ahead of the next election. We need to make some decisions together, isn't it? Now, he's been talking about how much he believes that better days are ahead of this nation. He's a co-convener of the National Consultative Front, NCF, a former Nigeria political economist, Professor Pat Utomi. He joins me here live in our Lagos studio. Thank you so much, Prof, for joining us tonight.
It was a great pleasure to be able to join you.
And happy Easter to you.
Happy Easter indeed.
Hope you had a nice one.
His reason, I was in a fantabulous place this morning. I was in the prison in Onitsha.
Oh,
I accompanied, well, there's been plenty of reasons to jail me, but I haven't really been jailed. I went in the company of the prelate, the Catholic Archbishop of Onitsha, to visit the inmates. This is one of his big apostolates, and it was a tremendous time. I was
I was really, really excited.
That's good. You probably had gotten some inspiration from that visit, isn't it?
Absolutely. Set the captives free, you know.
Jesus himself was experienced some level of when people thought all hope was lost, and he rose on the third day.
Easter is about hope.
Yeah.
It's a remarkable theology of hope. In fact, faith and hope converge. Benedict XVI wrote a nice encyclical, Spe Salve, in which he makes that great point, you know, saved in hope. If he be not resurrected, our faith is completely in vain.
Absolutely.
So that is it.
And in the life of any man or any nation where hope is lost, there's no reason for living.
No.
And I seem to want to agree with the vice president when he talked about the lesson of Easter and how that can affect our country, Nigeria, that we need hope at this point in time. You have been making videos and talking about hope. Why? It seems you're not the only one talking about hope. Governor Yaya Bello is talking about Hope 23. He wants to be president, and he's talking about Hope 23. Gleaning from Hope 93 of MK Abiola, you are also talking about hope. What is it about hope and this period?
If you take hope away from people, then there is nothing to strive for. It is this hoping for a better tomorrow that drives people on to do. Even in business, as a business teacher, how do you measure possibilities? You look at what I like to call a hope index. The purchasing managers, what is their perception of how things are going to be looking in the next quarter? And those indicators enable you to look at where the economy might be traveling towards. So hope is a very important ingredient. And one of the things that worry me about the current political contestations is that politicians are not doing enough to craft hope. I don't mean a business hope of just saying hope. No, it's got to be constructed hope based on a certain vision, audacious vision of the future. In fact, today, what I tried to do for this weekend was write 7 op-ed pieces, 7 different op-ed pieces, appearing in several different media.
7
Actually,
different, or the same, or
different, completely different.
Different topics?
Or different topics completely. I mean, one which I've just seen appeared in the Vanguard is about the youth and where they belong in this great expedition of a rebuilding of a Nigeria. In Business Day, we have provided a manufacturing outlook, how manufacturing can develop. Because the clear goal for me, and I've said in one of those articles, that anybody who cannot show us how we can double GDP in Nigeria in the next 5 to 10 years should not be able to contest the presidency. Because you need a bold imagination. You need a big, hairy, audacious goal that will give hope to the people and make them strive to get themselves out of this mess, this rot, this poverty. Because, as they say in Christian circles, it's not our portion. Look, Nigeria has enough talent, has enough resources to grow this economy. My personal projection, I've said, anybody who can show us how he can double this GDP in 5 to 10 years, so I give them lags, those of who are laggards, I can tell you that we can double output in 5 years.
All right.
And
so,
in 3 years, within 8 years, double it again.
So let me, because a lot of Nigerians who are watching now, if anybody is in Kaduna State, is in Zamfara State, is in Niger State, might be looking at a hopeless situation in terms of security. If anybody has lost jobs based on economic situation and listening, I think it's hopeless. If anybody who is perhaps listening or watching and thinking about any other aspect of our lives, maybe think that things are hopeless. I'd like you to, because you have a lot of experience, you at a young age, you were in government. And over the years, you've studied the different sectors of this country and how things can be. I want to particularly like you to draw out 3 areas where Nigerians can see hope. What are these areas?
It's pretty easy. First of all, I want to show an example from history and other countries that is possible. Because it's when people say, oh, it's talk. I've seen it happen. When I was finishing my PhD, my favorite area of interest was Latin America. I was really fascinated by the work in Latin America, the modernization thesis and all of that. And Latin America began to flounder. Brazil, by model, at the point I just got fed up with Brazil. It seemed like the country of great potential that would never go anywhere. And then I switched to Southeast Asia. My interest became the so-called tiger economies as they were emerging in the 80s and 90s. I traveled there several times a year, so that became my arena. And then from nowhere, Brazil begins its return. It is what started to happen in Brazil, first under Henrique Fernando Cardoso, and then Inácio Lula da Silva, that assures me that this country can turn around fast. It just has a few reasonable, serious-minded people driving it. Look, I got a chance to exchange views with President Cardoso here in Lagos some years ago, yes, because I had challenged him as an academic when he was at the Economic Commission for Latin America. And I said, look, this dependency theory, the dependistas as they were called, it's very elegant theorizing, but I don't see the redemptive possibilities for the Brazilian people. That never left his mind. And what he did as finance minister when he became so, and then as president, was how do we redeem the people of Brazil? The challenge in Nigeria now is how do we redeem the Nigerian people? A number of things are important there. Intellect, so that you know clearly what you're trying to do. Compassion. You have to feel for the people, leave them.
Are leaders not
and
compassionate here in Nigeria?
No, come on, Shane, you can't say that. Can you say that people who are buying new SUVs, Abuja is the biggest display of brand new SUVs I know of anywhere I can see in the world. When the people are not eating, how can those be compassionate leaders? How can we be flying presidential planes around the place as if they are taxi kabu-kabu, and we're compassionate in a people hungry, starving? How can we be so relaxed when our neighbors are dying? That's not compassion. You see it in the action of the leader. And that's really where the starting point is. But to come back to where, let me say to you that we can bridge as a low-hanging fruit the state of unemployment very quickly. I have boasted to someone that within a week, as president of this country, we will put an order that will put every unemployed graduate polytechnic university to work. 100,000 naira assured. So the question is, where will the money come from?
100,000?
Absolutely.
That's a lot of money.
Plenty of money. Where will it come from?
I don't want to mention some profession now.
Professors are not being paid 400,000
I'm even saying that some lawyers in some chambers are being paid 40,000, 50,000.
Yes.
That's a reality. So some graduates earn 25,000 naira.
So
that's a lot of money when you say 100,000. How would that happen?
How will it happen? That's what I want you to ask me, and you've asked. One sure way of going is, look, this planet is in period, okay? Our planet is in trouble. This continent is being looked to help save the planet by greening its forests, stopping the Sahara and all of that. And we can get the world to pay for that. By just saying to all these graduates, you become part of a green army. And this program is too short for me to give an outline of how this will be deployed. But just to wall and prevent the advance of the Sahara and provide enough of those trees to deal with the carbon challenges of our world, we can get enough. But let me even keep that aside, because I know that can happen with people who know what they're doing negotiating these deals. Even the graft in Abuja, if you cut it, if you stop wasting money on those people in Abuja, you will pay those people.
When you say
money.
Those people, who are
the
those?
Politicians. Your friends, my friends. They are my friends, Look, in the 60s.
How have you been wasting money on them?
What are they doing? What are they doing? Why are they driving all those SUVs? Why does the National Assembly cost us more money than education, which is where we will catch up from? Why?
But those things, unfortunately, those things are statutory. They are cast.
We made them so. Look, when President Obasanjo was president, National Assembly didn't cost us as much as it's costing us today. And I was critical of him even then. But it's now much, much worse.
Do we need less lawmakers?
Legislators.
Do we need less lawmakers?
Besides the fact that we need law, we need to remunerate them much differently than there be. Look, politics is service. Okay? It is not a profession. I have said several times, anybody who is in public life is in government is paying him for 12 straight years, 3 terms, without them breaking and going somewhere, is a social parasite. Politics is something for people to take off some of their time to go and give service and come back to what they do for a living. It is not a living, okay? In the 60s, when we had the parliament, and these were parliaments that, ministers came from them, everything, not this kind of National Assembly. These fellows came from their law firms, came from their farms, came into Lagos, stayed in legible flats for some days, made laws, got pittance allowance, got into the bus. Many of them couldn't fly, got in the bus and went back to Port Harcourt or wherever. I keep referring to Onyeka Onwenu, who presents a fantastic model with her father. He was a federal legislator and was principal of Enitonian High School in Port Harcourt. His lifestyle did not change.
Can you say that again? So, a lot of people might be looking at or thinking that you are describing another country. This is Nigeria.
I'm talking Nigeria.
Where Onyeka Onwenu, that we all know.
The father,
the singer, the former,
yes.
TV host.
Yes.
And our father was a lawmaker, federal lawmaker. And was a principal of a secondary
school in Port Harcourt.
In Port Harcourt.
And rode around on his bicycle.
Can we have that kind of Nigeria?
That's what I'm saying. Why do we have this and not that Nigeria?
Do you still want to be a president, Prof?
Why not?
In 2023?
If we can fix it, why not?
Are you working towards it? Because
I'm working as a group.
You're talking about a model. A lot of millions of Nigerians, tonight we're selling hope. Yeah. Because the season calls for such. Yeah. And if we're doing that, and people like you've talked about good governance. You've talked about how economy can get back on track. And if you are outside all the time, how do we then get it? Because if the models are not right, then there is a problem.
What we're working on.
So the question is, Prof, are you throwing your hat in the ring?
We're working to run as a collective with essentially collegial leadership, a group of us. Whoever at the point we decide should be president.
You've not decided yet?
No. We are on this table. We're working at it. In the next 2 or so weeks, we'll know who we say should go forward.
And you're using the ADC?
We're using several parties that are together.
So it's going to be a conglomerate.
Absolutely. Just like Chief Olufalaye and Shinkafi came from different parties, got together to be the ticket in 1999. We're going to have all these parties, includes the ADC, APM, PRP, all of those. In fact, sometime in the next week, Professor Tahiru Jega, Usman Bugaje, Tuai Godalo, myself, and a bunch of people will go to the center of Nigeria and will unfold.
Where is the center of Nigeria?
It's a place in Abuja that is said to be the geographic center of Nigeria. I've never measured myself. And unfold an agenda for a complete turnaround of Nigeria. And as I've said, we can double the GDP of this country in 5 years.
So in 2 weeks, just a moment before we go into that, so that we clarify for those who are watching tonight, and we will know from your group, because you have between now and the end of June to make up your mind on the ticket that you would like.
Right.
But what I'm not clear about is, it's not provided in our laws. If you want to merge, you merge.
Let me tell you how we're doing it.
You have to use a single political platform.
Yeah, the way we're doing it is the 2 activities going on. There's fusion.
Okay.
There are some parties that are going to become one, and that's different, but they're still part of a group. There are some parties that will retain their identity, but we jointly decide, okay, maybe you are a Kaduna dominant party. You under your banner, select the people who will run in Kaduna, and everybody backs you. And then we get candidates who are the people that are thrown up by all these other parties, to gather all of them who is the best in this park. And here's the person we'll go with as part of a collective that will be president in this college, offer Nigeria a new direction. That is the thrust of the thinking.
So there's going to be a merger.
Merger and coalition.
Okay. So there will be a coalition.
Yes.
A coalition is not known on the ballot, or is an ideological concept.
It's an ideological coalition,
yeah.
And one candidate will go from out of that coalition for an office like the president.
Okay, and it's not too late for a merger now?
No, we don't. That's why we're not dealing with merger. Some people have already agreed
to the coalition.
To do that. Yes, that's
to the
coalition and fusion.
Okay.
That's already agreed.
And you think that this is going to be strong enough? I mean, we had
Absolutely.
a strong merger in 2014 that caused a stir politically in Nigeria today, and which, of course, is what we've seen today for 2 terms and 1 election.
But the party did not emerge from it. That's part of the mess.
APC emerged from the merger.
Is APC a party?
What is it?
I was one of those. I carried the APC card for years. It's a party.
But you were the
you
one
cannot
of those
talk.
what would you describe? Why do you say it's not a party?
It's just a group of people who wanted power. I mean, it was clear to me the night after the election.
How?
Which is
How
why,
was it clear? I mean,
because I looked at the body language around, and all that mattered was power, not service to the Nigerian people. I saw it, and I made, look, and I can see this publicly now. A couple of months into this thing in 2015, I got a call from, cabinet hadn't even been formed at the time. But I had seen everything that was wrong, and I'd begun to speak publicly about how to do right. And I got a call from Colonel Abubakar Umar and said, you know, I'm glad you have a conscience because everybody is still keeping quiet, but you are pointing to things that are going wrong in the very beginning. So the point is that I knew within weeks of 2015 that the party was going to go nowhere in terms of transforming Nigeria and the lives of people. It was all over. It was clear. It was obvious that the essence of it all was power, not service. I've talked to you about how I have gone several times. Look, let us try and provide knowledge to these people who have been elected on the platform of this party. This is where we think our party should be going. These are the values that can drive them. Look, values shape human progress. You throw a bunch of people together that have no shared values. You get what we've got, a collapse of culture. And because of that collapse of culture, there's no progress. You can see we're back like 30, 40 years from where we used to be. So
that's why you said APC is not a political party?
Yes, it's not a party. Like
what
I said,
would you say it is?
It's an election machine. It's an election machine. Just like PDP, by the way.
Oh, PDP is the same?
Oh, yeah. I'm glad just today I said so in one newspaper, and I think Umarado said the same thing in another newspaper. Look, for continent to make progress, we've got to get people who believe in something, who are willing to sacrifice to make that thing happen, and who put ideas systematically together, driven by passion for the people, service to the people, not power, not how many SUVs escort them. You know, I keep talking about my Kenya experience. Many, many years ago, I used to go frequently to Nairobi, and he's passed on now, a famous Kenyan mathematician, became a journalist. And we used to sit in the Thorn Tree Cafe of the New Stanley Hotel in Nairobi. And ministers would just walk in and come and meet us, have a chat, MPs. Simple life. Nigerian politics has become a world of big men who want to turn to big issues away from big men because they've not served Nigeria well. I mean, how can we be prostrate if we have been served well in the last 2 decades? We are lying prostrate with all our potential as a country. And we must say no. Nigerians must take their country back. And so first, I read Waziri Adio talking about where is the agenda. Waziri should go and try and read all the things I wrote today. 7 op-ed pieces. That's the agenda. What to do to transform manufacturing. What to do to transform the very basic challenge of how we prepare our young people for the next challenges that face us. What to do in the tech space. What to do I mean, at least those are my positions to my team, and we're going to be arguing about those issues. But the goal must be that GDP in this country must be double. Look, yes, it took the United States 60 years to double GDP. It took Britain 50 years to do same. It took Japan only 20-something years, 35 years to do that. But it took South Korea 11 years. With technology and everything, the tech
How long
space,
can it take us in Nigeria?
That's what I'm saying. It must, if we don't have a plan to double GDP in 5 years, we should get out of the way. We shouldn't even come and try to run for office. There must be a clear plan.
So for a lot of people, for the laymen who are watching right now, and for those of us who are not economically savvy, GDP is a quality
output, quantity of output of all of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
That we're producing.
And then, of course, we share per capita, given the population. And this population that we fear can become the source of our demographic dividend. And China and India have shown how a youth bulge, if you invest appropriately in that young population, can be rockets that will take off your economy. But what are we doing? We're killing the educational system. They can't even get to sit down with ASU and make sense. How can a university professor be paid what they are paid and the fellows in National Assembly are paid what they are paid? In this country, Shehu.
Is a misnomer?
Total. Professor Elebute, the late Professor Elebute, I remember he used to say to us, the day he was appointed Professor of Medicine at the University of Lagos, his salary was higher than that of the Prime Minister of Nigeria. So what are we doing today? Our values are upside down. What is the output of a cabinet minister in Nigeria? What is the output compared to a professor of medicine? Compare. Why are all the doctors going? Why are they leaving the country? Because we can't get our priorities right.
Can you change that if you become president?
Absolutely, that should be the goal. And we should be able to, if this economy begins to grow, we will reverse that flow. What happened to India was diaspora kickback into the economy. What happened to China was significantly, even going back to Japan, the Meiji Restoration, post-Meiji Restoration, the diaspora returning from Germany particularly stimulated the manufacturing takeoff of Japan. And it can happen in Nigeria if we have serious leaders.
All right. I'll ask you some very personal and critical questions now because we're going to wrap up quickly. You sat on your table and I made reference, this is probably the third time I've made reference to it, and you drafted what should be the spine of the APC working document. Yourself, the likes of, I think the VP was part of that team.
Yeah, VP keeps talking about it. He refers to it all the time, yes.
Yeah, and a few others that were on that team. If you get the opportunity to get a ticket, and from someone like the VP, I mean, he's also throw his hat in the ring, what would 2023 look like?
It'd be interesting to have a proper conversation. You know, politics is rational public conversation. The great contemporary German philosopher Jürgen Habermas says that modernity and democracy are defined by a rational public conversation. The problem with Nigeria is we escape or run away from it. Look at the funny thing they're talking about, consensus, a PDP and APC. That's nonsense. Democracy is about contest and contestation. And you're talking about consensus. What's consensus? My friend, cool down, calm down, so we can share this thing well, my friend.
It's an electoral act, Prof.
What?
Consensus.
Doesn't mean that it makes sense.
It's a leg of election.
Doesn't mean that it makes sense in terms of what democracy really means. It is a way to run away from discussing the issues. Yeah, you're complaining that we don't know the issues. We don't know. How can you know the issues when you consensus the thing? So you discuss the matter, you debate it, and let's get the best ideas.
So you're going into an arena with very strong men. I mean, strong men talking about PDP, APC, and a few other political
parties. What makes them strong?
Because they've been on the ground.
Because they rig elections.
Okay.
They rig elections. What ground? Count the number of votes that were cast. Take the manipulated ones. Take the bought ones. And then take what was probably voted. How many people voted? Right now, the nature of our movement, and we have participating civil society groups, whether it is a cooperative that has millions of members, whether it's the labor movement, that are all part of this coalescing effort. We already have registered more people than voted for, if you count all the votes as vote, those who run our country. So I'm clear in my head that if there's democracy, we'll beat these fellows next year.
Professor Patutomi, it's always a pleasure talking to you, and I think we'll talk more, especially on the day that we get to hear that you are a presidential candidate again. Thank you so much, Prof. And I wish you the very best. Thank you so much. And happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Let's take a break, everyone. And when we return, a former governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, he joins me from Kano. He will be talking to us about internal affairs of the PDP. That gets our attention tonight, the zoning arrangement and the contest for the party's ticket. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone. Welcome back to the program. It's almost a month now since the main opposition party in Nigeria, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, set up precisely was on the 25th of March when they set up the committee led by Governor Samuel Otom of Benue State, which was called the Zoning Committee. And that committee has since finalized its work and submitted to the party's leadership for the NEC to make its final input. But for about 2 weeks, since they submitted the report, not so much has been heard about the NEC meeting and the way forward as far as the zoning arrangement is concerned. Let's get some insight. We're joined tonight by a member of the NEC and a former governor of Jigawa State, a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, Governor Sule Lamido. He joins us from Kano. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight. Let me begin by asking you, what is the latest? What can you tell us? For a lot of people who have been waiting for the outcome of that the deliberation for the NEC to deliberate on the zoning committee report on zoning, what is happening to that report? Do you have an idea?
Thank you, Sean, for having me. Let me first say that, I have, a terrible catarrh. So my voice is very, very coarse. Having said that, let me from the onset say that I'm not here to discuss zoning as per the committee work. The party gave us an assignment. All right? They gave an assignment. And therefore, we are working for the party and not for channels or anybody else. Therefore, we discussed intensively as brothers, as a family, and we came to agree on some few things and made a submission, which we all signed. Therefore, I'm not here to release or disclose or say how we worked on that kind of thing, please. The issue of zoning here is not for this program because it's a committee thing and it's a party thing. And we're given an assignment. So I'm not here to discuss that, no matter how it went.
Yeah, I respect that, and we will understand with you tonight because of your voice. But as far as we're concerned, we can hear you clearly. So first and foremost, I was asking, my first question was, why the delay? The chairman said they were going to submit to NEC, but we've not seen NEC be convened. Is there any explanation from the party's point of view for your supporters who are hoping that there should have been a decision made public by the party?
Sean, again, you see, it's our own party, our own affairs, for our supporters. You don't talk for our supporters or for our party. And therefore, the time frame we take to make sure that, we do things right, it's immaterial to you. All right?
Okay, let me ask another question that you might be comfortable answering tonight. It's about the concept of consensus. What do you make of the consultations that have been happening? How much of help will consensus do for your party?
To me, anything which will bring understanding, clarify issues which appear a bit, maybe hazy, which will bring the family together as a single family, I'll go for it. And therefore, consensus is not another thing or something, it's a PDP discussion within the PDP. It's not for the northern consensus or southern consensus. It is about PDP within the party. We sit down together and see what do we think we can do to come to a kind of, mutual agreement in terms of what we do to which each and everyone is part of the decision making. That's what we mean by consensus. It's a PDP consensus, not a northern or southern consensus.
So you think that the consensus idea is a great one?
What I'm saying, anything which will make sure that, our family of PDP is more united. Where we see ourselves as a common family. Look, in 1999, we had a number of candidates, but then we're able to work out for the interest of the country. So in PDP, whatever we do is purely for Nigeria interest, not for us. Because there are expectations on us as in PDP, and the people see the PDP as the only hope in Nigeria today. So whatever we do really, there is something called Nigeria outside PDP. So we look at things internally and then say, what do we come up with so that Nigeria will be comfortable with it, and see something which will give them the kind of required maybe the kind of political environment to restore mutual love, mutual trust for each other. Because you see, to me, before you do anything else, you need to restore that thing called trust between ourselves. Apparently today in Nigeria, we don't trust each other. We don't believe in each other anymore. There are various cracks along religion, and it's something very, very well. You see, to me, how do we restore, even before you talk about candidature or government, why is the country first? Why is the country? In the country where there is no trust, where you talk about northerner, southerner, westerner, our common bond is not there anymore. Our common bond is humanity. We are Nigerian people who are human beings who will be there for each other. So this is what I'm feeling. So what we want to do is, in whatever we do, we restore the kind of trust that the people in Nigeria will see in us, the political party they knew, which had been there for Nigeria and have been saving Nigeria, working for Nigeria.
So there's been consultations around the country. BOT is being consulted. That candidates are going from state to state, consulting stakeholders. What do you make of these consultations, and how much of help will these be for your party?
To me, it's an activity which will further, promote the party's, promote the party's image, because the more they move around, the more they discuss, the more Nigerians know, yes, there's something going on. So it's some kind of activity going on which promotes PDP. So this, to me, they are doing very, very well, because they keep PDP alive. It's in the wavelengths. That's why I talk about it. Nigeria talk about it, because the movement now is kind of, we're selling ourselves better because we're known better by what they're doing.
So give us an understanding, for those who are of the school of thought, that, look, let the party get a candidate that can win election for the party first, and then we can consider, the zoning arrangement. And for those who have made reference to the fact that should the zoning or a candidate of a northern extraction comes from the PDP, the current chairman is going to step aside. Now, it comes to one thing. The capacity and the capability of your party to win an election, considering that in 2015, in 2019, your party lost elections. And the fear is that should you not make some strategic move, you are bound to lose yet another round of election. Do you have that fear too?
Again, institution for maybe for fear of being repeating myself over and over and over. There was a party called PDP in 1998, which was formed, which won the election in 1999, one in 2003, one in 2007, one in 2011, lost in 2014. Therefore, people around know PDP much more than you. Nigeria know PDP very, very well. We did lose election in 2014 or 2019. Nigeria lost election. Nigeria lost, not us, because you see what happened. I've been saying that, if you put in the wrong party, it's not PDP, it's the people. Now, see what we are today. See our situation. Look at our economy. Look at security. And a number of things. Look at our common bond as brothers and sisters. Look at the loss of confidence, the loss of love and trust. So, you see, and I'm being very, very honest. I'm being very, very honest. It's not PDP which lost, it's Nigeria which lost. Again, if we lose again in 2023, it's Nigeria which not PDP. Look at the cross. See our history.
No, I'm asking about the capacity of your party. I mean, if your party presents itself as a viable option, alternative to the status quo, then you'll probably be able to win election. So the question is whether or not your party is viable, or it has presented, or does it have the public image that can win an election, or does it has it done enough to impress Nigerians? If it has not impressed Nigerians, would it win election? That's a big question hanging over your party.
Sure, must you patronize us, for God's sake? Must you patronize us? We know our own party. We know Nigerian people. I mean, look at the caliber of people in the PDP. Look at the caliber of people in the PDP. And you are saying we have nobody there? You have nobody there? Come on, Sean, please. Please. You see, let us try and read the debate, to issues. Let's make sure that we don't discuss, this thing for entertainment. The country is simply disappearing. The country is simply gone. And we're talking about capacity, capability. Fine. When you say capacity, what do you mean capacity? What do you mean capability?
Nigerians want ideas that will change status quo. And these are the questions I'm asking. And Nigerians want solutions to their problems. They perhaps are looking for the people who have ideas that will change the course of their lives, their livelihoods. And that's what I'm asking, whether or not your party have those ideas that will do those things that they are yearning for.
Let me interrupt you, Kyo. This party has been on ground for the last 25 years. All right? This party, her leadership, at the world level, all over Nigeria, in each village, there is a ward. There's a local government structure. There is a state. Therefore, there are structures, by which we operate, and they know as much more than China can reach. Our reach out is far, far more than your reach out. Therefore, we know what we are doing. We know the country. We know the party. So Nigerians, more than what you know, more than what you think, they are more than what you think, because we know it. They know us very well. And reach out is there.
So, I mean, for Professor Patotomi, he said APC and PDP, they're the same thing. They're not political party. They are just election machines with the aim of grabbing power. That's how Professor Patotomi described your party today. But I'm not sure Nigerians are looking for election machines going into 2023 election. They want people with real solution. And I'm asking you, does your party have the philosophy, the idea, the agenda for the average Nigerian? Can you tell us, not Your Excellency, that in truth, there is a specific goal for your party going into 2023?
You see, I don't want to engage Pat. He's free to his own opinion. Let him come into PDP. Let him come into PDP and join us. He has the capacity, he has the reach out, he has the flair, he has everything. Let him come into PDP. And if you think he can improve us, let him improve us, and then let him grab in PDP. Let him come into us. But they don't stay outside and be saying, PDP is bad, CPC. What is the alternative? What is the alternative? So you see, there must be election, which is through political parties, which form government. The difference between the ideals, prophesied by people like Patotomi, and the reality on the ground. Because Nigerians on the ground are not like Patotomi who go on ideals.
So it then brings me to one question. There are those, and they are members of your party who have the school of thought that if your party go into the primaries without having a consensus or an agreement and goes into an election with multiple candidates, that it poses a danger for your party with your wealth of experience as a party man. Do you agree with them?
Thank you very much. Again, you see, Show is our party. We know our party very, very well. We know the party's culture. We know the party's traditions. You understand? Don't speak for us. When you say people outside, which people? I mean, we know what we are doing. You see, the PDP is made of people, you know, who are real Nigerians, who are very, very genuine, who are very, very, who believe in Nigeria. And therefore, in whatever we do, at the end of the day, no matter what, you know, with the capacity, the political, you know, experience, and the wisdom to be able to say, what do we do for Nigeria, for all Nigerians? Not, you know, this kind of thing, you know, they can, you know, what they call, you know, maybe motor park discussions, you know, to talk shops, you know. There's something more serious when we sit down as a party to discuss. And like we say, you know, we all look at Nigeria. No matter how do, we shall never ever disappoint the Nigerians. We will never disappoint them. We'll do the right thing at the right time. So please relax.
I'm not relaxed because every day I see a lot of things that needs to be improved upon in this country, and I know that a lot of things cannot change if those of you who are in politics and who are in opportunity, who've got opportunity to govern Nigeria, don't do the right thing. Then it gives me a lot of worry, and that's why we're having this conversation. And tell me, Your Excellency, tonight. You look at a lot of things that are happening, and you've said to me that Nigerians lost out by not voting your party. What does Nigerians, or what do Nigerians get to gain should they vote for your party in 2023?
Okay. Sean, again, let me, with all sense of sincerity. The other party, which was in government for 16 years, and then we are flushed out. I mean, we've been flushed out. Now, APC came on board. They've been there for barely 5 years, and they destroyed everything we did in the last 16 years. They've been destroyed. So, you see, sometimes, you know, I get pained by trying to explain things in Nigeria. People like you and many others, you know, who sit down, you know, who look at things, you know, in a very, very ideal form, you know, we are part of the propaganda in 2014 to flush out PDP. And people who are paying the consequences are not people like you. They are the only people in the villages who are suffering. People who cannot travel around. People, you know, who cannot even go and see their own family during Easter because they fear. People who don't have the money. You know, but then the elites like you know, keep on, you know, looking at things, you know, based on theories, you know, PDP, blah, blah, PDP, blah, blah, is much more than that, please. Let's be serious. Look at the country. You know, the ordinary folks, not us. People like you and me can fear and survive under any condition. But the other can others do so. So let us, for their own sake, please, see how they can be saved from this issue of insecurity, lack of you know, mutual trust. You know, we are not a country. So we literally gone as a country. We don't believe in it anymore. To me, the primary focus in 2023 is who will be the kind of person who will be able to restore that thing called trust first. There must be trust because we don't trust each other anymore. When you restore trust between Nigerians, then there will be mutual respect. Then there will be stability. When there's stability, there will be peace. I've been saying, then there will be human development. But then this thing called trust is gone. We don't trust each other. Look at the conversation now, you know, in the political arena. The conversation, my own, your own, our own time, your own time, you know, zoning, no zoning. Look at it. I mean, so you see, it's so divisive. It's very, very divisive.
So going into 2023, what are the characteristics that Nigerians should be looking for in the leader that should lead us in 2023?
As of today, there's no Nigerian, northern or southern, who alone or his own can move this country forward. No such person. On his own alone. So it means we need the Nigerian collective, the PDP collective, as a family. We say there's a family. You know, first, we are as a family. This country called Nigeria. What do we do to serve Nigeria? what is there for you in the north or south. So we look at the issue as they are. And then from there on, we say, okay, fine. The process, they will produce the product. Who is going to be the candidate? And by the time it's produced, it's going to be there for each and everyone. And then we shall unite around him. It is the energy, the support, the political or the PDP membership, we should be able to guide the product, the candidate, so they know he will address Nigeria problem. So he'll be able to address Nigeria problem.
Do you see your party winning the election in 2023?
Why are you so cynical?
I'm not. I'm just asking.
Why are you so cynical?
Isn't that a straightforward question, Your Excellency?
Are you so depressed?
I'm talking to you about your party.
Are you so depressed?
And the chances of your party. I want you to look at the crystal ball and tell me what you think could happen.
No. You see, no. You see, the APC. Let me talk. The APC government has shocked you into coma. You know, everything has simply collapsed. And you have lost, you don't have anything called, you are vision again, because your vision now is hazy. You don't believe in anything because APC called that, not PDP. So please, don't worry. We'll restore your hope. We'll restore your own hope.
I'm looking forward. If there's something that I'm hoping
we'll save you from your despair. We'll save you from this despondency. We'll save you and other Nigerians. I'm
a reflection of the Nigerian nation and the Nigerian people. I love my people so much. I'm that patriotic. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Sule Lami, the former governor of Kano State, for talking to us. I agree. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Well, that's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Seun Okimaloye. Happy Easter once again, and enjoy the rest of your evening.